Hello and welcome everybody. It's another episode of our GRL podcast. Last time out, we had the pleasure to talk with Joseph Singh, our Division 3 commentator, and before that, we had Triangle 11 as Williams' team principal. So we thought it's time to talk to a driver and also someone who signed up as team principal for the next season, and it's our Division 6 driver from Sauber, Tedhead. So welcome to our podcast, and thank you already for being here and signing up for this.
Yeah,
Because I
thank you
think
for having me.
everyone does it. So it's been, I think, your first full season now in GRL. I think you joined last season midway through, if I'm not fully mistaken.
Yeah, that's correct. I think I was there for like the last two or three races. And this is my first full season. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think this time out, I think you started in Division 5 and then we moved you down after like a few races because I think
yeah,
Sauber had the lack of drivers in Div 6 and your pace in Div 5 wasn't top pace. So I think we moved you down with Kieran. But so
that's a
yeah,
nice way of saying it.
yeah, well, I mean, it's not that easy. The game is not as great as we want it to be, so not everyone has the pleasure of sweating it out every day. Gonna put it that way. But yeah,
Yeah.
so it's been your first almost full season now in GRL. What's been your personal impressions of the season? Have you enjoyed it, or would you say it could have gone a lot better, or how do you think it has gone so far?
To be honest, although it was a bit embarrassing at first, the move down from Division 5 to 6 actually has probably helped me. I've probably got better because of my confidence increasing. Being more towards the top has helped me actually go faster. But yeah, it's been very enjoyable. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's as you say, the confidence. That's what I think is the most important thing in racing because if you're always like outside the top 10, obviously the top 15 score points, but it's still not ideal. What would you say really makes the difference then when you have really struggled first few races, scrapping into the points, and then in Div 6, I would say you've kind of been a top 5 driver across most races. How did that feel for you to know like I'm not useless. I can fight for something here.
Well, I mean, consistency's been a main thing for me, and also like the fact that even when I was dropped down in division, Kieran still showed like faith in me to going still score decent points in Division 6, and even the first race I think was Australia in Division 6, and I still struggled quite a bit there, so that was like a bit of a shock. But then the next race, I improved a lot, and it gave me a lot of confidence for the rest of the season, which was very crucial, I think, for me.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, you've really improved since the start of the season, and I think a lot of people have. Others have got worse. But so Australia was your first race, so that was, I do believe, the third round. So you've done, yeah, more than 5 races now for sure. I think it's about 8. What do you reckon has been the highlight of your season? Because as I said, you've had a couple of really good races, but which one stood out to you?
Well, to get to the point quickly, definitely Netherlands. I would say got quite lucky a few times in that race. Obviously, switching it from Bahrain helped me quite a bit, and then the rain through the race and through qualifying was very good for me because I do quite well in especially into conditions, but the wet was like very good for me, and I did end up winning the race, which was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it was, as you said, you mentioned Australia before, where you struggled really, and Zandvoort was the next race, and then you won. That probably was just the bit of motivation you needed now, because it's always good when you know you have the pace, but if you can really extract it, then it's even more like kind of relieving, isn't it? To show I can really fight with the top lads in this division.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as you said before, confidence is huge, and if you've got confidence, then even small things such as like giving it giving it all you've got into the next corner or the next straight or whatever it is, it can really help you gain a lot of time, and then even the small things over a race distance can help you massively.
Yeah. You mentioned Kieran before as well. He's obviously also moved down from Div 5 to Div 6, and he's also the Sauber team owner, team principal, whatever you want to call it. And he's also had like an up and down season. So you obviously know him very well. How would you say is Sauber as a team right now? Do you feel like it's a comfortable environment as a driver you can race in? Or how do you see it? Because a lot of people probably would like to know how the Sauber team is because Kieran is TP for the first time this season.
Um, I'd say for me, yeah, it's a comfortable environment. Definitely, like I feel like not even just Kieran. I feel like there's many other drivers within Sauber like that I can just ask for a little bit of advice or like help with the setup or whatever it is. Whereas like maybe I'm not too sure, but maybe other teams it wouldn't be as easy for something like that. But yeah, I'd say it's definitely a comfortable environment for me, especially because I'm relatively new to the league.
Yeah. You've in the since Antwerp basically you've been like in the top six, top seven every race because if you look at it, I said Zandvoort was the victory with 25 points. Then at China it was 13 points. That was I think with sprint there. Then we are Canada, another podium. Then you skipped Spa. Then we had Hungary with 11 points, Austria with 12. So interestingly, the sprint weekends don't seem to be yours so far. That was Las Vegas, not Kota. That was 20 points, so that was also second place. And Abu Dhabi was 13 points. So your best races have been Zandvoort, Canada, and Las Vegas, which shows that probably you've got really good pace on a different range of circuits, isn't it? Because Zandvoort is a very high speed, classic track. The banking's there, especially in the last sector and also turn three. Then we've got Canada, an old kind of street circuit with low grip, same as Las Vegas, which is a very new circuit as well. So it seems like you're enjoying those street circuits, but also the old-fashioned ones like Sandboard.
Yeah, I think especially with the street circuits, a thing that's helped me is like a few of the older games and definitely this game, just like sitting around getting bored. I just sit in time trials on the street tracks because they're a bit more difficult, and I feel like that's definitely helped me a lot because practice has been pretty much everything really for me. Whereas like in the sprint weekends, I've probably practiced slightly less, and it's shown, especially in
Yeah,
China.
the sprint is the practice.
Yeah,
I mean, there are a couple of people looking at it that struggled in the sprint weekends, and it's also a bit more pressure, isn't it? Because you've got more sessions, you've got two one-shot qualifyings, so if you invalidate once you're off for that session, really. And how do you see it? Like in Division 6, especially this season, it seems like it's a very close grid. Like you've got obviously got the championship contenders of Bennett, Jimmy, and Gilles. Then there's you in the standings, and then we've also still got drivers like Woody, Liam Hardman, Fanta, Simon Depp, maybe Hamburger. Um, it's probably very competitive also for you every week, isn't it? Because it's always different people racing for the top positions.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like to be honest, in most races I'm around like the same sort of position between probably P7 to P4, but the people like in qualifying especially the people ahead like change all the time.
Yeah.
Like
Like
it's
Liam, I think Liam was very good in qualifying in the last few
yeah
weeks, but then I think was it in the sprint he struggled, or was it I think in the main race he invalidated his qualifying, but his points are like 6 and 7 points from China to Canada. Then you got 21 and 4, then 25, 9 and 11. So you certainly keeping the challenge to those lads as well. For the rest of your season, what do you think is a realistic target? Because you're now about 25 points away from Gilles in third, with one sprint weekend and a classic weekend left, and then you've got the 25 points gap to Woody and Liam, and then even more to the rest. Is your aim just to keep P4, or are you really actively trying to challenge Gilles for that third spot?
Obviously, it would be nice to get third, but my main aim, to be honest, is for the Sauber to win the constructors in Division 6. Because, I mean, with only 2 races to go, the points gap is like a decent way both behind and in front. So just maximising the team's points is really my aim. But trying to stay consistent around the top 5 would be okay with me.
Yeah, that was very fair. I mean, usually drivers do not care all too much about the constructors, but it's good to know that Division 6, that is the thing, that the constructors is really important. I mean, Sauber had a couple of point deductions in other divisions, so I'm sure Kieran will be happy to at least win a few championships. Yeah, even though it may only be a Division 6 constructors, or I think in some other division they're also in the constructors nicely placed. Um, yeah, let's talk about the constructors. I mean, your main rivals right now are Gilles and Bray in the WeCarb, who had a rough start to their season, and in the Ferrari we've got Jimmy and Fanta, and Ferrari have now finally got a second driver that turns up for the races again. And then obviously you and Kieran in the Sauber, you've got 34 points gap. Um, who do you think is the more dangerous team from Ferrari and VCarb for you two there? And do you think with that 30 points gap, you've got a nice buffer to like, no, we don't have to go all in every race, but we can't really relax yet?
I think a 30-point buffer definitely is helpful, but I mean, I think to ensure we can actually keep top of that championship is if Kieran can get a little bit of luck and actually finish the race with some decent points. But yeah, I'd say definitely Ferrari's the biggest challenge probably for the end of the season because I know Jimmy got very unlucky in the last race with a disqualification in qualifying, and that ruined his race a lot. But yeah, Fanta and Jimmy are definitely 2 drivers who you'd see near the top quite a few times. So definitely Ferrari probably a bigger challenge to the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, Ferrari have also got a disadvantage in the constructors compared to you two because with Jimmy they obviously also want to win the drivers, which after this race seems a bit of an issue. With Bennett Boy being so far ahead already with like 33 points. But yeah, that's not your problem, is it? So, um, yeah. So one more thing on these drivers. Who would you say, looking at the races you've done, you've formed a pretty nice rivalry with, like, who are you going in the weekend with? And like, if I beat this driver, it should be a successful weekend, or are you just so focused on yourself and like, I'll try what I can, I don't really care about the others?
It's a little bit of both, to be honest, because I think many weekends I've been quite close on pace to the Giles, but to be honest, in qualifying, the positions changed that much. It like trying to decide who my rival is on the starting grid
Yeah, I
more
mean,
than more than
you've
before.
got drivers like Gilles who always starts like a bit further down and then he makes it up with some random strategy that works pretty well.
Yeah.
It's probably a bit difficult to um to judge how good the job was you've done, but yeah, I think given the fact you've joined late and probably missed out on 20 odd points, that must be pretty satisfying still. Another thing I wanna talk about is, as I've mentioned previously, you've also signed up as team owner for the next season in GRL. One of many, so we're gonna have some tough choices to make there. What made you decide that you are interested in giving that role a go for next season?
Well, I think a lot of what I've done in my life, like up to now, has been sort of management based, and I like kind of having a bit of power and deciding like who would be the best at doing something.
Yeah,
So I thought that would transfer quite well to being a team owner. And although I've had not much, I've had no experience in other leagues with doing it, but I thought I've got a bit of confidence at driving now. So why don't try something else too to challenge myself a bit more?
yeah. I mean, it's obviously always nice to see people like you have not raced all too long in GRL, but have got the confidence to join and say like, I would like to do this. Which is obviously nice because you've driven well, you've turned up weekly, so there's not really any reason for an admin to say why should he get the role like this. I think the teams you have lost on were Alpine and Sauber, if I'm not wrong, which I think out of all the forms I've seen are the most disliked teams from everyone. But yeah, I mean Sauber have had a good run. I mean this season point deductions didn't really go in their favor, but last season they were fighting for the OCC, so they're doing well. I'm also saying this nicely because I've got myself a Lego car standing next to me. And then Alpine, I mean, they've had a bit of up and down the last 4 or 5 seasons, really. So would be good to see them fighting at the top again. The last time they have really won the OCC. I think it was in season 3 or season 2. So that's also some time ago. Question is, you reckon you could beat Kieran when you're team owner in the OCC?
Well, I've got to back myself. And
Yeah.
if he's getting point deductions like we have been now, I'd definitely back myself.
Well, and he'll miss 123 points in the Division 6 championship. It's going to be a
Yeah,
real struggle. I mean, to be honest, Division 6 certainly is not lacking the amount of reserves, so he'll probably find a few ones. But yeah, I mean, what is the aim now for the last few races? Like, um, another win, another podium, or are you just driving around, already trying to scout for next season?
um, I'm realistic with my aims. A win, realistically, with the tracks coming up, isn't something I expect or well, I hope, but I don't.
Yeah, um, that makes sense, I guess. We have next we've got Kota, which is a sprint, and then we've got Brazil as the title decider, and Brazil likes a bit of wet weather conditions as well. What do you think of these two tracks? You reckon you could do well? Are those tracks you like,
In this division, really.
or are you more like I said a fan of street circuits, or you reckon Kota Brazil? What would these tracks do for you?
I think I'd be definitely stronger at Brazil than Kota, but I think I do back myself to keep penalties low at Kota, where I'm not so sure on some other people maybe. So I could gain a few positions from that. So I don't really know how to gauge Kota really, but I'm quite confident for a good result at Brazil.
Yeah, I mean, Kota has always caused a lot of um, penalties in the sessions with corner cutting and multiple warnings and so on, especially in lower divisions. I think keeping it penalty free there could be very, very crucial. But I think the main struggle in Kota will probably be qualifying now because you've got the two one shots again. You've not got free runs where you can dial in. It's just yeah. do or die, basically.
Yeah, I think that might be what's cost me in the previous sprints. Is maybe the do or die. In one shot qualifying, I would keep it a bit more safe and clean. Maybe not maximising what I could do, but just trying to keep it within the right lines, not get the lap invalidated, and maybe that's helped me be in front of a few drivers as well.
Yeah, I mean you are. I forgot. Are you on pad or are you
I
on?
am on pad, yeah.
You on pad? Yeah, I thought so. So I think Kota could be alright then because down to my experience, Kota is pretty kind to pad users like myself. And the tire wear isn't as awful as some other tracks, so one stop should quite easily be possible also in the main race. Um, that turn one will also be something. That's going to be very interesting, I'm sure.
Five people get out of it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure more than people go into it. It depends how many get out of it. That is gonna be the question. But yeah, you said Brazil is the better track for you. Would you mind some weather conditions? Because you said earlier interconditions are good for you. That's why I thought you were Pat, because for us Pat users, every bit of rain usually is quite helpful. But I guess, as you said it before, bit of interconditions would be happily taken from Sauber.
Definitely. Well, I wouldn't say Salba. I'd say me probably more than Kieran, as I know he's not a big fan of the rain, but
I mean, Kieran always gets pole by 6/10 and then he retires after 2 laps. No, that's a bit
yeah,
tough for pole, and you just do the racing.
yeah, and that's about 15 to 20 points, so
Yeah,
could be worse.
yeah, someone's got to be the number one driver, I guess. But yeah, that's everything. I wanted to ask, or we wanted to ask. So once again, thank you for joining us, and there we have it. So for everyone watching or listening or whatever, thank you for doing so for the last 22, 23 minutes. And yeah, as said, next up in 2 days, we've got Kota with a sprint and a main race. Couple of drivers for Constructors' Championships up for grabs already. Most of them probably will be decided because we've had really good top runners this season, but still a few are very, very close. I don't think Division 3 will be decided, so that is that. But yeah, tune in for those if you want to see if Sauber are wrapping up the constructors in Division 6 or if Bennett Boy is winning the drivers in Division 6. So yeah, we'll see you all the next time when GRL returns. Goodbye.